bottom right expansion. He's had to run the probes out. Especially if he can take out that Nexus, that would just be basically game. The carriers are attacking the middle now though. He's microing his carriers around trying to avoid those turrets. There's just a few turrets in the middle, so if he can counterattack and take out that expansion at the sort of mid-top left for Tarson, he might be able to even things back up. But at this point, Tarson's got a few turrets to hold things off and a few Goliaths to hold things off in the middle, and that's going to buy him enough time to start pumping out Goliaths out of 7 factories. He's got 7 factories, mostly pumping Goliaths. His macro is a little bit failing him, but it doesn't really matter because at this point he's taken out the bottom right expansion completely, and now he's going to be able to start charging to the left. And I'm really actually surprised that Mana is just going for this counter and with his carriers, and he's not trying to take out that force in the bottom right because there's only, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Goliaths in that force at the bottom right. 5 Goliaths. If he took out those 5 Goliaths, the carriers would then be able to easily take out all those tanks very quickly, and he'd be in really good shape to start pumping out Dragoons as well. But Mana is just completely ignoring it. Now he's finally bringing his carriers back. I think he realizes how dire his situation is. If he loses that natural expansion, he is basically fragged. There are probes going down though. The tanks are within range. A bunch of tanks sieged on that Nexus. That Nexus is going to go down. Here comes the carriers. Carriers coming in. Is he going to be able to take out those tanks in time? He's targeting the tanks first. As opposed to the Goliath. The Goliath's a little bit stuck behind the tank line. But the Nexus is almost dead. 225, 150 hit points left on the Nexus. The Nexus goes down. The Nexus goes down. Mana has lost his Nexus. Oh my gosh, he's trying to rebuild another one at mid-left. But in the meantime, Tarson has 2 bases mining right now. 2 full bases mining right now. And Mana has 0 bases mining right now. He's got 24 probes mining gas in his main base at this point. He's building a new Nexus at his expansion. But he's supply blocked, and he doesn't have any money intake at all, and Tarson has spotted that left side expansion as well, so this is really not looking good for him at all. You know, he's got a decent sized force of carriers. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carriers it looks like, and 8 carriers can be pretty devastating force. I mean, it's possible he can go around and rampage Tarson's bases and try and come back in this game by throwing him off guard, bringing his forces back. But it's really going to be tough for him to do that at this point since it doesn't have a lot of income at this point. And a lot of Goliaths on the ground as well, taking a lot of interceptors out. Dragoons on the ground, but he still has a sizable amount of tanks. Actually, no, it looks like he's lost some of those tanks after all. He had a few tanks, but it looks like he was actually targeting the tanks with the carriers in order to make the Dragoons more effective, perhaps. But there was also some Zealots in the mix there. Sorry, I didn't see completely what happened there, but the carriers do live. And there's just a few Dragoons on the ground and a couple Zealots, so he's probably going to be able to macro up enough Goliaths to take care of this pretty easily, and then he'll be able to just stomp back down on Tarson's base. Well, Tarson has, I'm sorry, Mana's bases. Mana has both 2 bases back up now, so maybe he is going to come back in this game after all, after losing his natural expansion and his bottom right expansion, having no intake at all. He may actually be able to come back into this game. He's targeting down the command center, and that base does go down. He's taking out some SCVs as well. So I'm really confused why Tarson hasn't. Oh no! Oh, the SCVs could be able to get in. Oh, they are going to be able to get in. Okay. I thought the SCVs weren't going to be able to get around there. But Mana, he attacked with a bunch of Goliaths, but they just were not effective. There's too many carriers in the air and too many interceptors. I mean, that's 64 interceptors, you know, each doing 8 damage. He's got +2 weapons on those carriers now. So that's a lot of damage he can put out very, very quickly with those interceptors. And it looks like he was going to try and go for cloaked raids, but that's going to get shut down as well. So it looks like Mana has actually gotten back into this game. He's lost, I mean, those forces, oh, that's where the Goliaths went. I didn't see that. Jesus. I'm still a little bit new as observing. I miss battles sometimes. I apologize for that. But it looks like those Goliaths actually went down and destroyed all the probes at that left side base. So they're basically down to their natural expansions at this point. And both players attacking each other's third bases and taking them out. The Nexus going down at the left side. Sorry. But now we're seeing this is deciding battle right here. We're seeing those Goliaths attacking the carriers. And whoever side wins is going to be able to take out the other's expansion and take the game in the long term here. So it's going to come down to this battle. Tarson does not have a lot of income right now, but he does have a little bit in the bank, so he's going to be able to keep macroing out Goliath. for a little bit longer. He's not macroing that well though. His factories aren't producing very much at the moment. He's got you know, some Goliaths queued up at one factory, but the rest of his factories aren't producing Goliaths at this point. His Goliaths are slowly going down. He hasn't been able to take out enough carriers. He hasn't killed any of the carriers actually thus far. There's still a couple Dragoons going around, so it looks like Mana is going to be able to take this game. He takes out the command center. Tarson now has 0 intake at all, and Mana is almost mined out his natural expansion, but he still has a few hundred minerals left in each of those patches that he's going to be able to mine for just a little bit longer. And it looks like Tarson is close to admitting defeat at this point here. He's saying something else, I'm not sure what exactly he's saying, but he's still got a little bit of money left. He's still trying to get out some more Goliaths. He has managed to get out a good group of 8 Goliaths here, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough. 8 Goliaths against 8 carriers. He's almost taken out one of the carriers, though, targeting that carrier down. Mana doing some nice micro actually shifts that carrier to the back of his group, so it's more difficult to target, and I really think that's just pretty much all she wrote. He just doesn't have anything else to go off of here. He's not able to get any mining going on, and he's not able to produce any more Goliaths. He's completely out of minerals at this point. So Tarson is going to go down in the first game, and Mana, the up-and-coming player, beating the old-school Tarson in a very nice Protoss versus Terran. This has been really exciting. All these games have been, well, the first game was a little bit different, but both games, the last 2 games, have been very, very back and forth, and very, very cool games. So it looks like Mana's going to be able to come back. I thought he was screwed there for a while when he lost his bottom right expansion and his natural expansion, and he was barely bringing his carriers back in time to try and save his main base there, but it wasn't quite enough. So Tarson saying bravo to Mana. Mana takes the game, and Tarson GG's and leaves. So nicely done by Mana. And that's I was gonna say that I didn't think it was possible in this game, but I was gonna mention earlier how you see that sometimes where players will just come out with a bunch of carriers and somehow scrape their way back into the game with just carriers alone. But usually you don't see players do that unless it's like, you know, Stork going 2 base carriers or something like that. So nicely done by Mana, and I think Tarson's macro failing him a little bit there with the Goliaths, but again, it was a good carrier map, and so it was just really difficult for Tarson to pull off anything against those carriers anyway. So many ridges and things. The carriers worked really well. He was able to dodge the Goliaths, force the Goliaths into choke points and that sort of thing, and just target them down, that sort of thing. So GG indeed.